Hey horror freaks, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get a notification every single time that I post a video, and I post every single Friday. So today, as you can see on the title, I'm going to be telling you why Coraline is a horror movie. Yes, this is something, it's kind of a debate on the internet since the movie came out, if Coraline should be considered a horror movie, if it's not, if it should be just consider just a creepy kids movie. In my personal opinion, the first time I saw the film I was just 9, so I wasn't really paying that much attention to details like that, so I have to kind of rewatch it many times in order to start to see what makes Coraline a horror movie, because in my way of seeing it, I think it is. So if you want to know why, keep on watching. So in case you don't know of which film I'm talking about, Coraline is a 2009 American stop-motion dark fantasy horror film. You can actually search for it, and it has the tag of horror in it. So I don't know if you want to say that it's the first thing of why it should be, because it's there. I didn't invent it. So it was written and directed by Henry Selick, and it's based on the 2002 novel by the same name, written by Neil Gaiman. This is a story about the adventurous girl named Coraline finding the ideal parallel world behind a secret door in her new home, unaware that the alternative world contains a dark and sinister secret. And basically that's what the movie is about. Like I said, it's based on a book, which I have right here. Actually, this is the graphic novel. I decided to buy this when I decided that I was going to read Coraline, because I love to read. So I decided that I wanted to read, because I have heard previously that, oh, if you're scared of the movie, well, the book is 10 times worse. And I wanted to check that. And since I love to read, I searched on Amazon and I found this graphic novel. This one is actually, it's in Spanish. I don't know if is this made of English. I have never actually seen it. So if you are a Spanish speaker, this is great. And I don't really mind reading Spanish of English, since Spanish is my first language, in case you didn't know this, because I speak English not good. But I read this and I think that it's way better because of the pictures, and in a way it's really creepy, because obviously, like every adaptation, the book and the movie, they have major differences. And I think that the things that they didn't make on the movie, or that they changed, could have made the movie to be even more creepier than it is. And I'm going to be telling you about that later on the video. Now we're going to the good stuff, and it's why Coraline is a horror movie. My first reason, it's the tone and the setting. If you have seen the movie, you know that at the beginning, the real world, it's gray and it's boring and it's silent. In a way, it's kind of depressive. I don't want to say that Coraline is a depressive girl, although we know that she's not happy to be moving from her friends and her town to this new town with this new house that it's all while her parents are always at work. So I don't want to say that she's depressed, but she could be on the way to it. Now, the other world, on the other side, it's full of life and fun. And there's also great food too. I don't know about you, but I would love to actually taste all the things that the other mother is cooking. I mean, the second night, when she's with the cheese and everything, that looks so damn good. I even saw once on Pinterest, someone did the first meal that the other mother made for Coraline. It looked so good. And we know that her dad is the one that cooks on the real world, and the food that he makes, it doesn't look that good. And even one scene, the mother opens the refrigerator and it's basically nothing. So we can see the difference between, and we can see why Caroline kind of prefers at first the other world versus her real world. Now, another reason for me are the rats. On the book, they are way creepier, they're bigger, and they even sing a song. And what they say is that we are small, but we are many. We are many, we are small. We were here when you rose, we will here when you fall. Now Coraline hears this when she's kind of falling asleep, and she describes it as a really thin, small voice, this kind of creepy voice even. And I don't know about you, but if I am falling asleep and I hear this, there's no way I'm sleeping. Let's be real, there's no way. And this is something that they didn't make on the film, and I believe there's a scene where we have 4 mouses that are spinning, because this is just before she's about to go for the first night on the other world. And just let me tell you, if they have done that song on that precisely shot, or maybe just a shot about the rats and everything, that could have made it creepier. But why all of this could make this a horror movie, it's because the tone and the setting is important. Because it's pretty common to see dead and gray kind of setting and tone mood for horror movies, because we need to see the tension building up, because it's not that common to start, well, sometimes it is that they start a movie really happy and suddenly that's when it hits. For example, like 28 weeks later, the film starts, maybe just the first 2 minutes, it's everything okay, and suddenly that's when the wave of infected person hits and they start running and the tension it's coming. So for me, this type of details are important in the creation of the tension. So for me, that makes the first step of why it's a horror movie. Now, the second reason is that Coraline actually falls in some horror cliches. This is something that I have been noticed from time to time. This is not something that from the maybe in just one set of maybe seeing the movie, it's like, oh, it has this and this and that. No, I have rewatched the film many times. So this is something that when you start to analyze and you're like, yeah, I have seen this previously. And the first thing and the most important, a family moving to an old house that it's probably haunted or has some kind of supernatural background. In the case of Coraline, has a supernatural background. And this is something that can be seen in, for example, films like The Shining, where even though it's a hotel, can count. We have Amityville Horror that has supernatural background and it's kind of haunted. We have The Haunting in Connecticut, where the house is haunted. And this type of films, mostly about possessions. It's when we see that the house has something creepy or maybe darker underneath the walls. And we obviously have this with Coraline and the secret door. Second thing is that the parents doesn't pay much attention to Coraline. This is a kind of thing that can be seen in horror. For example, there is Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. This film, I'm not quite sure if it's still on Netflix, and it's by Guillermo del Toro. And the girl, when they move to a house that has supernatural background, there are little creatures that are hiding on the ground of the house, and they can come up by the chimney on the basement, and when they open it, they got released. And the girl starts to see them, but the parents don't believe her because they think that she's making things up in order to have their attention, since they're working because they want to sell that house that they just moved in. That's their work. They go, they do some refurbishments, and then they sell it. Obviously, that's not what is going to happen on the movie. If you want, I'm not going to spoil it, but if it's still on Netflix, go and watch it. It's kind of a bad movie that you kind of watch, because we are all guilty of that. So, but this is a rare example of this particular moment. Next, we have the warnings that are given to Coraline by neighbors. Now, an adult giving a warning to a kid or even another adult about not going there, don't do this, don't do that, is something that it's pretty common. For an example, we have on Friday the 13th, we have Ralph. He's seen as the crazy person of the town, and he's telling Annie of don't go to the camp because something bad could happen. Obviously, she doesn't listen, and she's later on killed on the movie. She's actually one of the first kills on the film, and I kind of like it, the effect of her throat. And this is something that it's seen in many other films, where someone is telling you don't go in there, and the protagonist is like, you know what, I am going there. And here we are, us, like, you don't do that, please don't do that. But if they don't, we don't have a movie. So just skipping that. Now next is the use of the doll. Just by the opening scene, we know something very important about the movie is that it has a doll. And we have seen dolls used on a bad way, like Chucky, Dead Silence, Puppet Masters, and Annabelle. Basically, all of these dolls and puppets are possessed or they're evil and they kill. And probably this is the reason why many people are afraid of dolls in general. They don't like, oh, we also have the boy. Well, and basically this is the reason why I know many people that don't like even porcelain dolls because they look kind of creepy and you're probably thinking that in any moment they will move. So the fact that the movie used a doll with button eyes and the fact that it's made to spy Coraline, this is something that, yes, is a horror cliche because we have seen it many times. And actually, there's this scene where the doll actually moves, but it's so little, so subtle that you have to pay real attention. So basically, when Coraline is sleeping, we can see the doll kind of moving. And when she wakes up, the doll is in another position. So basically, the doll, in a way, we can not say that it's haunted, but it's used on a very evil way. For me, the last reason, it's the fact that the villain main target are kids. This is something that we can see, for example, in Poltergeist, many possession movies, that if you search, they're actually kids. The Exorcist, she was a teenager. And for example, has the form of a clown in order to capture the attention of kids to then eat them. And he wants to get the fear to eat, that's what he do. And he has at the target, we have the Losers Club after. And basically the other mother, he eats the soul of children because she's a witch. Actually, she eats what is called a beldam. There are witches or malicious spirits that shape it or impersonate people and that eats the soul of children. And that's what she do because we have the scene of the three kids that used to live in the house previously that they agree to put the button eyes and their souls were eaten by the other mother. And on the case of Coraline, she didn't agree to it. And we kind of happy that she didn't because probably if she had ever actually done it, I don't know how the film or the book will have turned. Kind of interesting way to see it, how things could have turned if she actually have said yes. And basically those are my main reasons of why Coraline is a horror movie. Now, something to keep in mind is that just because it's an animated movie, that doesn't precisely mean that it's made for kids. We have seen previous shows and movies that are animated, but when you actually sit down and watch it, you realize that the things that they're talking about, or maybe the plot, is not made for kids. Probably you're thinking, but wait, Coraline is about a girl and about kids being eaten. Okay, yeah, that's fair. But for me, in a way, I think that it's made more for teenagers. If we want to go a little bit deeper, I think that what Coraline wants to teach is to be grateful with what you have and not wanting what the other ones have or wishing for something that it's even paradise. On the case of Coraline, she wanted everything to be even better, which, okay, it's not bad, but you need to be, just like the advertisement of the movie, you need to be careful what you wish for, because there are many movies when we have the wishes being done and things doesn't go as a plan. For example, we have Wish Upon, where we have this girl that has a wish Chinese pot and she has 7 wishes and everything is okay because she starts to get what she wants, but everything comes with a price, and in this case it's a blood price. So in a way, movies are teaching us be really careful what you wish for because things can turn on the other way. And basically, this is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with me? Do you think that I am wrong and that Coraline should not be considered a horror movie? Have you watched it? Let me know in the comments down below how do you feel about this. And I'm going to be seeing you guys next week. Bye!